We've got to talk about Mulholland Drive. It's one of the greatest films of the past 10 years. It started out as a TV series, which ABC rejected based on the pilot, and it wasn't until a year or two later that David Lynch was able to raise enough money to conceive the project as a feature film, re-edit, reshoot.
Yes.
What was the experience like for you to start out in one medium, then be in limbo, and then finish up as something else? Was there a point when you thought no one would see it at all?
Well, there was a point where David thought nobody would see it, and he even said, Mulholland Drive is dead in the water, girls. But I never thought that it was. I don't know, there was a feeling inside me, and I don't know, everywhere I turned, I saw Mulholland Drive. I saw a sign of Mulholland Drive. And so these were little signs for me, you know, and I told Naomi, and I calmed her on the phone, and I was so amazed when David said, he sat us down, he was in the middle, and I was on the left, and Naomi was on the right, and he goes, I have good news for you girls. Mulholland Drive is going to be an international feature film, and there's going to be nudity.
Yay!
We shook hands. I was leaving, and I was thinking, what did he just say? There's going to be what? So we didn't have a nudity clause or anything like that. It was just on a handshake. I said, David, yeah, and he honored it. He honored everything that we agreed on. So.
Oh, you did fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So Craig Weinstein asks, regarding Mulholland Drive, when the project was still a series pilot, can you comment on how the character of Rita would have developed and what you would have done with her had the story been given that much more time beyond the scope of a feature film to develop?
From my understanding, Mulholland Drive was going to be developed in a way sort of like the big mystery in Twin Peaks is who killed Laura Palmer. So it's going to be who was this character, Rita. And all these different strange characters were going to be arriving with these clues, but nobody was really going to know. Apart from that, I really don't know what David had in mind. I don't even think he knows. I think he just creates as he goes.
And it's an emotionally devastating story, and it's his film noir. Did he ask you when you were preparing for the role to look at any of the classic noirs of the 40s or 50s, nothing like that?
No. And everybody always thinks that he directed me to simulate that or to copy that, but he actually didn't. All he said was, walk like a kitty cat. That's what he said to me, walk like a kitty cat, Laura, and he uses a bullhorn. And then the other thing he told me is to walk like a broken doll. So he always directed me in similes, but he was very basic in his directing. That's,
I mean, he is such a unique director, and you've worked with many great directors. What makes it different working with David Lynch? You've worked with him 3 times. What's different about working with David Lynch?
He has a very specific world that he creates, and he creates it with his voice. He creates it with his hands, and you walk on set, and there's such a peace and a calm on set, and everybody loves him. He's not one of those directors that gets upset. I remember Ann Miller had to go back for something, and we had to wait until he, came back, and she came back. And some people were complaining, and he was like so light about it and so wonderful, such a gentleman, really. And I think that when a leader has this kind of energy, it trickles down and everybody's happy.
So by the time you got to Cannes that year, did you know that Mulholland Drive was something special?
I had seen it at David's house. We screened it, and we were speechless. We didn't know what to say. And when we screened it at Cannes, we were prepped. David said, girls, if we don't get an applause and if people boo us, we're gonna walk out with our chins up, because nobody can judge your creativity, your art. And in Cannes, if they don't like a movie, they will boo.
Right.
They will boo you. So we saw the movie, and there was a stillness. And Naomi turned around to me and said, is that it? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm looking over, and we're all kind of looking at each other, and then the audience just roared. And they just applauded really loud, and they stood up, and it was really an amazing experience.
Yay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you pay attention when you watch the film, it seems fairly clear that the first section is Naomi Watts' character, Diane Selwyn's imagined life in Los Angeles. And the second part is her grim, heartbroken reality. David Lynch seems loath to explain it. Was it frustrating that so many critics and viewers at the time misinterpreted the film's dream logic?
Well, I think that what David tried to do is to create a mystery and to have everybody have their journey. So in that sense, I think it accomplished what it was meant to do. He did not want one interpretation. He wanted us to have our own interpretation, and we were under oath to say that what we thought it was, not what he meant to write or to
Right.
Right. And so it was kind of interesting to see all the different interpretations. The psychologist was, it's all one person. Somebody else would say, you know, it's the alter ego. It's four people. It was all these interpretations. Really wonderful to hear all of them.
David Lynch, I read, said that when he first interviewed you, he cast you from a photo, but his first interview with you, he told you that he had never seen any of your previous body of work. So how was that experience, your first audition with him? How did that go?
You know, it's interesting because I had met David 10 years before. He didn't remember, but it was very brief. It was at the premiere of Twin Peaks. I was blown away by Twin Peaks. And he was so elegant. He was standing there, and I was with Joanna Ray, because I had done a movie with her son. And she said, he casts from a picture. I said, my God, how amazing is that? His intuition is so strong, he casts from looking at a photo. And it just stuck inside me. I said, God, I wish he would cast me. Right. And then years later, I didn't have an agent. I was doing theater at the Zoo District, Downtown Arts District. I was doing Commedia dell'arte. I was liberated from Hollywood. I was so happy. I was, painting the set and just, it was amazing. I'd really given up on Hollywood. And I get this call from Joanna Ray. David Lynch wants to see you today. I'm like, today? I can't. I'm doing Pilates. I'm in warm-ups. Tomorrow. So David Lynch has to wait till tomorrow, right? So I go home. I'm so excited. I'm driving to his house with plenty of time. I'm so excited. I have the music jamming. I'm like, David Lynch. I actually have an accident. On the way to his house, I have an accident. And so I arrived kind of like this. And then I arrive and I told his executive assistant, I said, God, I'm so sorry. I just, can I have a glass of water? I had an accident. He goes, have you read the script? I said, no, I have no idea. So she gives me the script and I start reading it. So I get these goosebumps of, oh my God, the opening scene,
In the car accident.
Mm-hmm. And so Joanna Ray had told me to go with no makeup, like a canvas, with a white, really classically dressed, but no makeup. And so I was feeling a little vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah, and I walked in and David was very quiet and he just looked at me and all he said for a good 30 seconds was, good, 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 good. So I couldn't help, I started giggling, And then, so we were talking and I'm a meditator, he meditates, and I learned transcendental meditation when I was 14. I didn't know he was a meditator. I do all kinds, but at that point, I did learn when I was 14. So then he says, I want to play the music for you. I said, okay. He plays the music. I don't know what to do because he's staring at me. And so I'm looking at a wall out here. And later I learned that he always likes to envision whoever he's meeting with in the film. And if he can see the actor in the film, then he casts them. And the meeting went great. I did not audition. It was just a meeting. But there was definitely, a magic.
Right.
And I left, and they gave me the script, and I read it, and I had tears in my eyes when I read it. It was this is brilliant, I thought. But then I get a call from Joanna Ray and said, what happened? Did you like it? I'm like, I loved it. They go, well, why haven't you called back? I didn't know I was supposed to. I didn't know I was supposed to call. So then, the network and, she doesn't have enough experience, blah, blah, blah. So it's a roller coaster ride for 2 months. And David fought for his actors. And then, we tested the film. I think it was really a network test.
Right.
But they called it testing the film to make us relax.
Right.
And then we started shooting.
Oh, fantastic that he fought for you and you had that relationship.
And we
with
shot
him
it in little
immediately.
pieces too. I don't know if you know that.
because it was shot as a pilot? Is that
right? And then he shot an alternate ending, and then he shot it on 18 pages. So it was kind of 3 scripts.
so? You must have become very close with the rest of the cast, especially.
Yeah, no, we
Naomi.
created a family. Yeah, we were very supportive.
You mentioned that you didn't have an agent at the time that you booked the job, which is an astonishing story in itself. And I feel like actors always feel like they're never working enough, whoever they're with. So did Mulholland Drive lead to getting an agent for you? I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My whole life changed after Mulholland Drive, and very fortunate. And a lot of people, just based on the fact that a director like David Lynch casts you, that gives you a passport in.